All right, this works much better if you draw your piece out first. This is a pattern that I came up with. I like it. You can use it or you don't have to. It's just nice swirl and then these slowly tapering smaller curves till we get one like this, and then we come around the edge like this, and then we start making more. Make these ones a little bigger, but then taper them down again, and then end it with a smaller swirl. And there we have it. Try to make yours about 7 inches, but if you make it too small, you can just add a lobster class and some chain. If you make it too big, you can kind of scrunch it down and maybe wrap it around more than once around the person's wrist. You can have a lot of fun with this. But in any case, we're going to do this, and then I'm going to take some little 6mm amethyst and some little 4mm, I think these are little, some kind of blue seashell. And we're just going to thread them in just like that, all in the little loopholes. And we're going to find a kind of a pretty stone to go on top. It's going to be so fun. So let's do this. We're going to get our 14 gauge aluminum to start. And we're going to take, just to be on the safe side, we're going to take like a lot, like almost a whole meter. Yeah, let's just take a whole meter. Just call it a day. If we have leftover, we'll just use that to make some earrings or something another time. So we're going to make our loop. Boop boo. And then we want to swirl. Now this stuff is so soft, you can almost start using your fingers right away. If it's too hard, you know, go back to the pliers, but your fingers will have more control and they'll be softer and you won't have to worry about scratching it. So look at it, how nice it is. It's just like, I'm careful to make my swirl like equidistant all the way around. I'm being very mindful of, but it's not going to be perfect. It's not a perfect circle. It's going to be an oval a little bit, you know, but I'm just having fun, relaxing, enjoying it. And then, okay, that looks good. Put that, it's so long. Good, right about there. And then we'll start to bend, make our burns. You don't have to follow the your drawing exactly. It's just kind of a pattern to help. If I had a ruler, I would measure, see if it's actually the right amount, the right size, but I'm just eyeballing it because live life on the edge, right? Just be a little crazy. Just a little crazy. Now, right here, I'm grabbing the pliers again to make that really tight turn right there. Bend that and then come straight up. And this is, I'm going to overshoot that just so I get it nice. That's another way to get it tight. You overshoot it and then you come back. Sorry if I'm bumping off camera. I'm trying to, this long piece keeps grabbing onto stuff. I'm trying to get it out of the way. You can pinch that. It's better if you put it on the paper so it doesn't slip. Just pinch it a little bit. Okay. Good, good. And then we come around this, and we make this one. Yeah. I'm a little tighter than my drawing. Give yourself a lot of room on your table. I'm banging stuff because I just put out so many supplies, and I really need to find places for all of them. So you don't see them on the camera, but you can hear me banging into them. All right. Yes, this is fun. This is so much fun. So much fun every day. I want that a little bit tighter. Okay. We're tapering these down. Tapering them down. Okay. All right, so I'm a little smaller than my drawing, which is fine. That drawing was a little bit huge. But I'm going to do the final swirl. And thank goodness for once I took enough wire. I'm going to have a little extra. Make sure I have enough for the swirl, make it nice. Still give myself a little extra just in case. And there we go. It's good. It's nice. Very good, very good, very good. All right. Just roll that, play with it a little bit. And then we get our piece of metal that we buy for hammering. You should have one by now if you've been watching these videos. This one I formed this morning just out of my incredible skills. I actually took steel and I just, because my hands are so strong, I shaped it. It only took me 5 minutes, but you might have to buy a little baby anvil or steal one from some elves, or just get a piece of metal, get a, what's called a, like get a door hinge and nail it to a block of wood. Just get a, they have these just blocks of metal made for hammering. Anyway, then get a hammer. I don't even care what kind. Like just get some old hammer from somewhere and get like a nice solid block of wood. I was telling people to do this on the floor, you know, put something padded under it, but I found the easiest thing is just put it right on your lap. Believe it or not, hammering on your lap like this with just a block of wood, a little piece of leather, and then your piece, it doesn't hurt your legs at all. You can barely feel it, and it's just the right amount of cushioning, so you're not hurting anything, but it does get a little loud, so you might want to put earplugs in. But it everything just stays right in place, and just now you're going to get these little hammer marks, and that's fine. It's not perfection you're looking for. You just want to strengthen and flatten it as evenly as possible, but don't go crazy over it. Just evenly, you know, go across, keep hitting it. And then if you see some spots that look a little overdone or underdone, you know, just go back and give them a few taps and smooth it out. It's going to bend and move and curl and you know, get out of shape as you're hammering it. And you can bend it back afterwards. It's fine. There you go. You see why you should plan it out better? Because this is just chaos. I'm just fitting them in wherever they go. I don't think it's too bad. I found this nice flat coin bead seashell. It's like a bluish gray to go over the top. It's really flat, and it's going to cover up that pretty swirl mostly, but I'm going to put some pretty silver swirls over the top. So that should be good. I'm going to have to draw this to remember where I'm putting all the beads. But yeah. Voila. 26 gauge silver plated copper would be my go-to for the threading part. I don't have 26 on me, and somebody gave me 28, and I've never used it before, so it's a little bit super thin, but I think I'm gonna have fun. So I'm gonna take off a ton of this because I always run out, but this is okay. I can always take more. Probably take about 1.5 feet to start. See where that gets me. And I really should get a nice cloth so that I can just lift this up without all the beads rolling away. Wait a minute. I have this nice black felt I can use. Beautiful. I'll just pick this up. Hopefully they don't. Oh, come on. You can't all come with me. Okay, I'm going to first wrap this part right here where we're going to make the clasp later. I'm going to take the very middle of my wire and just wrap it. Just scarf it a few times. All right, that's probably too many times, but that's okay. And then we'll start making our way down to our first little guy here. It's just kind of spider webbing through. The fact that these beads sit so perfectly in the grooves means I have to do almost no work. But you do want to go once around. Oh, I like this. This is very easy. Oh, I like 28 gauge. Why haven't I used it sooner? You do want to go around, totally around this part each time you make a pass. You don't want to just weave it like this. You want to weave it, go around the individual strand of aluminum, and then come across, and then go totally around a whole circle around the next part, pull it tight, and then come across. So if you understand what I'm saying, you're not just going back and forth, which would be super easy. I mean, you could, but to make it stronger and make everything more secure, it's better to go all the way around each part, pull it tight, and then go across, and then go all the way around, pull it tight, and then across back. So hopefully you guys understand what I mean. Let's thread the rest of these guys in. Still not getting used to this threading. It'll be really precise, and then just when you think you got it, you let go and it bounces out where you just put it. I'm beginning to think I shouldn't have went from the middle. I should have just went from the very end and had a long strand to go all the way down. But oh well, live and learn. So I secured it. I didn't have to put the bead in, but to keep this part from being flimsy, I'm securing it every now and then. And now I have to get over to here. So I'm going to wrap it diagonally to get down to that little part to put the next bead. When you only have a couple inches left, that's the end of your wire. Wrap it around 2 or 3 times, pull it really tight, and then you can coil it into a little curly Q, a little swirl like this, but a teeny tiny one. Kind of shove it in somewhere, put a dab of E6000, or you can get another piece of wire and wrap it around it and start your next part. I'm going to take what I have down here, try to snake it up without it looking too conspicuous, and continue on. So I did a little zigzaggy, which strengthens these parts, but it's a little bit more wire than I normally like. You're seeing it magnified. Really, when people look at it from a distance, they're not even going to see this wire. It's going to disappear. They're just going to see the aluminum and the pretty stones. So that's a good thing about 28 gauge. But still, you want to keep your pieces from getting as like busy and junky as possible. Use as little wire as possible at times to do the most good, the most strengthening, the most holding. And that's just something you just get better. You just see angles more and more as you do it, as you make hundreds of pieces, which you should do, because that's what makes it fun. It makes you an expert, which I am not, but maybe someday. See, now this wire wrapped around there, and it came to meet the wire that was at an end. So now they can kind of strengthen each other by wrapping. You can give them a little twist like that before they continue on their way. And I'm just going to leave this end for now. I'll come back to it. And I'm going to use this to continue on my way. And this came out perfect. I just ran out of wire right here. So I have these 2 ends, and what I'm going to do, this one I'm going to curly Q, just shove somewhere with a little dab of E6000. This one I'm going to wait till I put my big stone on top, and then whatever wires used to secure the big stone, I'm going to wrap this into it. So I'm just going to leave it hanging out there for now. Get another piece of wire about the same size, about 1.5 feet, and do the rest of these, and I'll put the big stone on last. Now you see these right here. These are the result of loops going the wrong way as I was trying to thread, and instead of paying attention, I pulled them tighter and tighter and tighter, and they turned into little kinks. If I keep pulling, they're going to break. So when you see this, you have to be careful. You have to take your pliers, and you have to unwind them to find out what direction they're coming from, and unwind the damage that was about to be done. And sometimes you just got to flatten them. You just got to turn them like this and give little pinches and just totally flatten them out so that they don't turn into a sharp little corner that twists on itself and breaks. It's just like if you take anything that's a little bit stiff and twist it and pull, you're going to create a weak part, and that right where you're twisting it, it's gonna snap. And so see how I'm unwinding it? It's delicate, and half the time you're not sure you're doing it right, but just do what feels best, because honestly, nobody showed me how to do this. I've just found it, you know, it happens, and I found I can undo it if I'm careful, so I don't have to start a whole new wire. All right. But as you thread, you'll learn to thread better and better. And I've said this in other videos, but instead of trying to take, whenever possible, sometimes you can't help it, but instead of trying to take the end like this and stab it in, and then pull it all the way through, that's what more often creates kinks. If you can, a better way is to make a little loop right at the base and push the loop through the place you want it to go, and then pull it from the other side. So you're pulling it through rather than pushing it. And that keeps the wire usually a lot more, what's the word? A lot more smooth and moving in the same direction, so it doesn't twist and make a kink. But even then, you got to be careful. It's just a lot of practice, really. And then other times you get lucky, and if you're paying attention, you can just wrap the whole thing just like this. Woof. Just like that. Woof. You don't even need to let go of it or anything. It's just like very simple. And voila, that part is finished. I'm just going to wrap it a few more times and then wrap it around, thread it through this guy just to strengthen that last swirl, so he's not hanging out there all by himself, able to be snagged. I'm going to use 22 gauge silver for the stone in the middle, and I feel like I could use an extra few little, what do you guys think? Maybe? Maybe. We'll see. Let's get this stone on, and then we'll see if those work or don't. So how much wire are we going to take? Probably not enough, whatever it is. Just to be on the safe side, let's take 1.5 feet. Let's take 2 whole feet. See, I'm learning. I'm learning to be better. Maybe. Probably not. I'm going to put that through to the middle of the wire. And I haven't even decided how I'm going to attach it. Let's find out. What will be the best way? I think we'll just, I think we'll just come across like this. No, I know. We're going to make 2 very big loops. I've done this in another video. We're going to make 2 very big loops like this. Look at that. It looks like an old TV antenna. How about that? This wire is really like bouncy and not smooth. Where's my round nose pliers? They're around here somewhere. And no matter, it doesn't have to be perfect. This is just going to be a functional part. It doesn't have to be a pretty part. But look how fat, see how big that loop is? Now I'm going to twist it to hold its spot. All right. And do the same thing on this side. This is going to give me 4 points of contact to attach this when I'm ready. There we go. Now that's more like a loop. Why couldn't you do that the first time, right? All right, now these 2 are going to come across. And man, this wire is awful. I hope they make better silver wire now when I order my next batch. All right. By the way, I got this on Amazon. I was just experimenting to see if I could find better wire. It's awful. I mean, it's real silver-plated copper. It does the job, but it is the bounciest, crimpiest, kinky, like not... like it just, ugh. Anyway, all right. Push that over to one corner, that swirl we just made. And now we're going to have some fun. It would look much prettier if the wire was smoother, but that's okay. We're going to overcompensate by going out of our way to really gently make it as smooth as possible. We're going to put all these pretty swirly things in there. Maybe we'll put a whole loop in there. How about that? Get a whole loop over there. Just keep on rolling it to get it nice and tight. Pressing in there, and all right. And then we're going to wrap it once around here. And we're going to come back around and we're going to make it this amazing. It's going to be a gorgeous design. We're just going to have a lot of fun here. Back over there. See, it keeps wanting to make sharp corners, and I'm fighting it to try to get smoother, rounder curves. All right, that's pretty wild for a design. I think it's as wild as we want to get. So right now we have 3 points to attach it. If we pinch these out, you didn't know I was going to do this unless you saw the other video. It was an obscure video from a long time ago, but I'm going to pinch, see this? You pinch these guys, and now you use them to wrap, to attach onto here. And then of course we have these 2 wires, but they're coming out the same spot, so that doesn't make them anything unique. We want them to come out from 2 different angles. So I'm going to bring this one down here and wrap it around here one more time. There we go. Now we have, I mean, they're both coming out from the same corner, but at least they're going in different directions. So we can use that to attach this to 4 different places. Let's see. Now these little hang wires are kind of in the way now. I thought they'd help, but let's coil them up first and tuck them in. So we'll just give ourselves like an inch, like 2 centimeters for each one, just to make a nice curly Q. Just gonna coil up each single one. Just make a little teeny tiny bend, and then just roll it and roll it and roll it until you have a nice little swirl. And like that. And then fold it over the back, tuck it in right there where no one will see it. Camera definitely won't see it because it doesn't want to focus. There you go. Tuck it right in there and just put a tiny dab of E6000. I'll do that with the rest of them. Okay, that last design on the big stone was too busy for me, so I redid it. It's very simple. Hopefully you guys won't mind. I felt like it was covering up too much of the prettiness of the stone. So this is much prettier. I feel like you can see the stone better. So let's put it on and see how it will fit best. I think I like to have it like on a diagonal. So these 2 loops that I turned into really straight and long, we're going to make them both turn on a right angle facing down like that, so that they can just boop, just pop right into some loops, and then you can fold them over. And that's a trick where I actually, if you didn't have these parts, if you just had these, you can actually have the stone changeable. You could put this in, fold those over, have that be the stone. Then you want to change the stone out, you can have another stone. That's another video I did. But anyway, let's put this down like this. I like that. I like that diagonal right there. So we'll fold it over. See these 2 loops? Ah, he jumped out of my hands. Tricky little guy. Okay. So now we're going to fold them over. And we don't want to just fold them over. We want to wrap them in somewhere where they're not going to come undone. So I'm going to take that and press it, shove it behind there, pull it from this side, and actually use it to wrap around. And you can wrap around as many times as you want. It might be a little tricky to get it in there the first time. You got to kind of roll it and wedge it and move that other wire out of your way. But then once you get it, it comes around. And the beauty about that is it's a curve, so you don't have to worry about it being a sharp end. You can just shove it anywhere it fits, and boom. So that's already, the stone is like super secure with just that one. This one will pretty much do. We don't even need the others, but we'll use them just for fun. So this one, I think we're going to shove we're going to shove this one sideways. Try to get it kind of, trying to pinch it and turn it so it kind of gets in there. And this is definitely not as much an art part as it is just engineering and just trial and error. But that's a lot of what this is with, you know, because 50% of wire wrapping is beauty and the other 50% is just functionality. And the functionality is just, it's really just engineering. You didn't know you were a little teeny tiny minor engineer, but you are. And that is coming around. We'll just fold it over there, just shove it in there, get folded. All right. I love how that stone fits right over the swirl. I mean, it's sad we don't get to see the swirl anymore, but all right, now this is definitely a weak spot. There's nothing connecting these two. So this wire will be very useful for that. We're going to thread it right in there immediately. And it is a heavier wire, so we got to be careful not to kink it. We're going to pull it very tight. And I'm going to start pulling it through the other side already. Actually hooked it around the back. I'm going to come around many times with this and really just make that a thing. The key to getting it tight so it doesn't look junky and messy is to just, with this heavier wire, you just keep pinching it in small spots and rolling it slowly, slowly. And then eventually you flatten it one way or the other. So I feel like it's flattening that way. I'm going to come around here, pull that tight. It wants to go right there. That's fine. We'll just let it go right there. And I think that's it. I don't want to do too much more with that. And I really think looks like an open spot. I really think we want to put an amethyst and the 2 little beads in there just to fill it in. And now this is loose right here. This whole thing is only being held by that one little tiny piece of wire. So again, this piece is actually going to be very useful. Just thread it right. Got to get it through there. If this looks like the fun part, let me let you be rest assured, if that makes any sense. This is not the fun part, but it's a necessary part, and you just muscle through it and you make it work. And if you mess it all up and it gets tangled, you just cut it off and do it again. And every time you do it, you just learn. Just learn what works and what doesn't, and you get a little better at it. This is literally the first time I've made this type of cuff, so there you go. Just learning with you. And even this. So I threaded those 3 through with the heavy 22 gauge because I had to get them out of the way. I think I'm going to put a couple right there too. And then we'll be done, hopefully. It's a long video. Look at that big swirl on the back. I could have cut it. I didn't need to make a swirl that big, but whatever. We'll just shove it right under the stone, right under there. Look at that. Just jam it in there. Because this is the back of the underside where nobody sees anyway. Look at that. It's gone. Boom. No one will ever know it's there except you and me. Now we'll just swirl this one and shove that under. It'll be perfect. Okay, finally we're done that threading part. This is going to, you can either bend it around and make it a hook to hook into here. But I don't, let's just show you just in case. I think I made it a little too small even still as far as the width of the whole thing, unless I have someone with a very skinny wrist. But what we would do is we bend it up like this and then bend it around like this carefully. Do it in small motions, turn it around, do it from different angles like that to get a nice hook like that. And now we're just going to carefully, little bits at a time. If you have like if you had an oval, like a railing piece of wood, you could wrap it around it like, because the wrist is not a total circle, the wrist is an oval. But in any case, we're just going to try to get this very gently. We're going to make every part of it curve. If you just try to wrap the whole thing, wherever there's weak parts, it'll make a sharp corner, as opposed to a nice, even round oval. See how that's coming around? Now, yes, that will fit a little teeny tiny girl wrist, a little baby wrist. But for the rest of us, we're going to need to put a clasp. We're going to put a jump ring with a lobster clasp. And then over here, we're going to need to put some big jump rings or a big chunky chain so that it can be adjustable. But I'm pretty happy with this. I feel like it came out really good. Looks very tight, looks fun. It's glimmery and glamoury. So tomorrow I will find someone to wear it and I'll add the clasp and the jump rings. But I think you guys understand how to do it. Oops, see there's a sharp corner right there. We don't even want that. No sharp corners in this place. No, sir. It's all gradual curves. Gentle, gradual curves. There we go. All right, there you guys go. It's a super long tutorial. Thank you for being patient. Tomorrow I'll add the video, showing it finished up with somebody wearing it tonight. There is no lobster clasp here, and there's nobody here to wear it. But I will see you guys soon.